Maybe 1 minute. Do you think you can do it in 1 minute? In 1 minute, you can wrap it up.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Can you hear
so
me?
yes, I can hear you very well. Okay, so in all the whole stuff I've
Okay,
just mentioned
excellent.
today, yeah, thank you. In all the stuff I've mentioned today, I mentioned about the big data and the Internet of Things. Now, don't be scared. I know many people they might be thinking, do I have to study computer science before I can know what's big data, or do I have to study Internet of Things? Do I have to study technology before I can know IoT? No, you don't need to understand. You don't need to be a computer scientist or a programmer to understand how the big data works. You can be an applied scientist. You can be an applied wherever your major is. You can apply it to use those models. So what it means is that you can get attached, you as an individual or as a company or as an organization, you can get attached to a statistician who understand big data at a company so that they can help you and to grow your brand, your business, your community, your country in any way as you think about it. And again, the big data analysis, it comes to different branches, right? Because we have the deep learning, which means there's a system that can be able to recognize patterns, right? We have the deep learning, we have the machine learning, that is to make the system learn some certain things, kind of robotics, kind of cron job, and other stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting and it's pretty cool. And to end my topic today, the last example, if, for example, you run let's say you run a school, right? You run a school, you own a school. Now you ask yourself, or you have a business, you ask yourself, okay, I have a business. How many, who are my customers? How many customers do I have buying from me every month? Do you have a proper list of them? Maybe the answer is no. And even though you have a list of your customers, you should be able to understand their patterns. Oh, she bought my cream last week, right? So which means that this cream she bought last week should finish after 30
Okay,
days.
you are styling me.
So
Okay,
after
and then
30
I should
days,
tell people
we
what they
have
are
to set a
giving
pattern.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Not just go at
I
okay,
think,
okay,
Just
thank
I
you.
need to say I'm
Okay,
not hearing.
yeah,
maybe
I
I will
think
speak.
we're running out of time
Yeah,
here.
no, so.
So,
Okay, thank you. I will speak.
But I
I'll
think that they should have told you, they should have given you the dress before now.
Miss
Yes.
Nancy, Miss Nancy, please. Miss Nancy Oblet, mute.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I think I'll reserve my other comments
okay.
for answers, questions and answers. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, of course, because don't forget, there's still question and answers, and there you will still have a chance to give
Okay.
more
Okay. Cool.
examples. Very interesting topic, I must say.
Thanks.
Really, really
Thank you.
interesting. And I myself have a list of questions for you too. So we're going now to the next speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Edmond Agboifo. It was really insightful, and I think the listeners have learned a lot as well and are ready with questions for you later. So, our next speaker now is Mr. Dominic Forson Nudonu. I hope I said it right. Forgive me if I didn't. Can you please introduce yourself, and I'll give the floor all to you. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello.
Yes, I just said that I'll give the floor to you. Can you please introduce yourself? And we're ready to hear. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I think he's driving now. Maybe I would suggest we give the floor to Mr. Sheye Odele from Canada.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Uh, Oluseye Odeleye? Mr. Oluseye Odeleye? Are you there?
Yeah, my name is Olusheye Chimoche.
Excellent. So, shall we start with you then, and then wait till? So, if you could please introduce yourself,
Now you're connected, so you can.
and we are all ready for you.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Timothy
Mhm.
Odeleye. Timothy Oluseyi Odeleye. Uh, I'm an engineer by profession, and I'll be focusing on the OEM is that we manufacture IoT devices ourselves. So we produce the PCB boards, write the firmware, and the applications. So, like for example, this is part of our product that we did ourselves. We we manufactured this board for some applications we are using, and also this one too. This is part of the board that we manufacture in Nigeria, not in Canada. We manufacture right there in Nigeria. That's why we do all these boards ourselves. And one of the applications will be, can I share my screen um, for the kind of presentation, just like a PowerPoint?
Yes, sure. You can try to share. Let's see.
It's not allowing me.
Let me check my end
Yeah,
to
but
see.
Constellation, sorry,
Ye-
Constellation.
Yes,
I
yes, I
think
can
you
hear
have
you,
you have
please.
his you have his PowerPoint. You can share it for us.
Okay, I'm trying to check my end.
Yeah, you have your check your WeChat.
Mr. Sheye, I'm trying to see if I can.
You can just give me permission. I can just give permission from here so I
Yeah,
can.
Mr. Sheye, if he gives you permission, he won't be able to record again.
Okay, okay.
So I think it's better for him to
No
do
problem.
it.
Oh, I can even talk without even the slide. Let me continue talking without this.
Yeah. So you
Okay,
can
then
try now. I
yes,
tried to
let's
activate
we just
something. You
start
can
with
have it
that.
try,
Once
please.
he finds it, then we put it up.
Don't worry, don't worry. Let me continue speaking even
Okay,
without
okay.
the.
Okay.
So there are two major applications of Internet of the Thing that we do that we know that we do that we did in Nigeria. And the two pertains to uh, power. Power is one of the things that is giving Nigerians concern today. And one of the thing in power is metering. Nigeria is being we are being built by overestimation from the disclosed company. So what we now did as a company is that we now started producing our own smart meters. What I mean smart meters, the meters we have in Nigeria currently are meters that when you buy them from the disco or from anybody, you will have to get your token maybe from the bank or from one company. And then once you get your token, they will send to you by SMS. You will now put that token into one handheld device before the meter can come on. So even if there's no light, you can't put it on until when there's light before you can actually punch in the codes. But what we have done on our own part is that we designed a smart meter that you don't even need to be, we don't, you don't need an handheld device to operate it. So the meter will be in your house from your mobile app or from your web GUI. You can just log into your account. From your account, you buy your meter credit, and then your meter comes alive straight directly. It goes straight to your meter. You don't need to be punching anything. So we use IoT technology to be able to transmit data from your mobile phone or your web application so that your meter can comes alive. So we have already connected to telecom companies like Nine Mobile, MTN, Globalcom, Airtel. We have already connected our server to them. So we are using their SMS technology and internet technology. We have our own APN for data. So once you buy online or through your mobile app or USSD, the credit goes straight to your meter. You don't need to be going through an handheld unit. And you can even, as I'm in Canada now, I can even buy for my father in Nigeria if he has our own smart meter. I don't need to be waiting for one bank or one person to be. Even if your light goes off in the midnight, you don't need to be going to one kiosk or one bank failure. No, we've already connected some payment gateway in the web application. We've already connected it to our applications. So once you just click and say buy, it buys the credit for you and it goes straight to the meter. So that's why we call it smart meter. You don't need to be going up and down for anything. And also, we have already we are working on the licensing. We have already gotten the license from the certification from Sun. So we're working on the NEMSA and NEC now so that we can have it around for all the discos. So we are working on that. But we have tested the meter with some discos and some private individuals and some private companies. So it's actually live. Something is actually live. So we are planning to bring a factory to Nigeria where we can produce the meter en masse. Our aim is to be able to produce like 1 million meter in the next 1 or 2 years. So at the minimum, so that people can be able to have their meters themselves. So you don't need to be having your estimated billing or something. As at 3 years ago, they said Nigeria needs 10 million meters, which I know to be more than that now. But the issue is that the production is very expensive to produce meters. So which we are looking for investors that are able to invest in our companies so that we can be able to produce like 2 million, 5 million meters, and people in Nigeria can be able to have their meters without going to having stress. So that's one of the usefulness of the IoT that we have already deployed in Nigeria. Then the second one that we deployed, which is very critical, is for the discos. In your area, you have this your transformer. This is your 415 transformer. That's your transformer where you put where you have feeder pillar, you put the fuse and all the rest. Sometimes your house may have light, the other house may not have light, or you have one face in your house and you don't have other lights in other places. So what we have done is this: we have collaborated with the discos. We put one of our devices, our IoT device, on the transformer. So the IoT device now detects any phase of transformer that is cut, maybe there's no light there. It detects it immediately and send the signal to the discos. So they don't need to come to your area before they know that you don't have light. Nope, they already know in the office. So with that, they'll be able to serve the people judiciously. So they don't need to be roaming about every morning looking for where there's light, or before they call them from that area. They already know in their office that Agbanwaleti Street, they don't have one of the transformer there out of 12 fuses, 3 are cut. So let's go and fix it. So it's even good for the disco. It's cost effective for them, and also the customers are able to get more light because it is making them more efficient. When we did this project, we started 2019. There was a report we did in 2019 before the COVID, and the survey told us that the disco revenue jumped up by 32%, which means because if some houses are using prepaid meter and if there's light 24 hours for them, they be able to collect more money. So it helps the disco to achieve a lot of how would I call it now? A lot of efficiency in their system. So that is where we come in as a company. We are the one that produce those devices. We do the PCB, we write the firmware, we write our own web GUI, we have our own server somewhere in US and Canada here. And the devices uses GSM modem. And with the GSM modem, they can send data from anywhere you are, anywhere the device is, sent to our server. And from our server, you can browse it and look at your devices. For example, now I can log into some of those. I can log into the web GUI. I know where there's light in Lagos, and I know where there's no light because I can see it live. the areas that transformer is on, areas that are not on, and also for meters, I can know how much I'm consuming. Even the disco can even know how much you're consuming in your house. They know, they see it right in their background. And if you tamper with the meter will lock itself. And once it locks itself, nobody, even the disco, field personnel that are going about, they cannot open it because our own system, we didn't introduce the issue of a tamper code because those guys sometimes they manipulate tamper code. Once the meter tampers, it's only the customer care from the disco that is allowed to open your back remotely. So once you pay, or once you do finish investigation and they realize that maybe you have tampered with it, you pay and all those things, all those fines, and then it's only from the customer care that they can open your meter. If you don't open from there, no, in fact, you don't have light. You can buy credit, but you don't have light. So those are the things, features we have already put inside our product, and we are trying to gain more investors to help us be able to set up the factory in Nigeria so that we can be producing the meter right there. Even though we are doing it now, but in small quantity. So we want to increase it from producing like maybe 1,000 meter every month that we have the capacity now. So I can maybe be producing like 100,000 or 200,000 meters right there in Nigeria. So the only thing we just be buying from abroad is just the components. So which means we have to create, this one will allow us to create jobs for people in engineers in Nigeria. There's firmware engineers, software engineers, electrical engineers, factory worker, technicians, installers, people that can be able to be selling the meter and all that. So it generates a lot of employment for Nigerians. So imagine if you are using a hypothetical stove, if you are to produce 1 million meter and we have to use 40,000 to produce each meter because we are going to be selling it for 63 according to government regulation. So, which means if you have 1 million meter, what it means is that we are going to be needing 40 billion to produce the meter. So imagine if that meter is being produced outside Nigeria, which means 40 billion is going to another country. Then no jobs in Nigeria, they just import it and everybody will now start saying, okay, buy a meter. But if you manufacture it in Nigeria, do the factory in Nigeria, engineers will work, even to cleaner, all facets of the economy will be able to benefit from the whole scenario. So let me just cut my presentation short. Those are the two things we are working on now as a company in Nigeria using the application of IoT in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really interested. Very in and wishing
Ria, we can't hear you.
Hello, sorry. Can I ask Olisheye some questions?
is he there? Now?
Yeah, you can ask questions. You can go ahead. If Ria
please, questions will come after. Sorry, just hold on. Questions will come after, sir.
Yeah, you can write it down somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right to the comment section. Already, yeah.
Or you in the chat and we will down.
You are breaking, Ria.
Yeah, your network is breaking. It's lagging seriously.
You cannot hear me? Oh, typical. Okay.
Now it's okay. Ria?
We can hear you.
Pepe, are you there?
I am here. I'm here. I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yes, Pepe, please, you can take over while Ria adjusts her.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Oh,
Be breaking.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
oh gosh,
But it's
this is
breaking. Yeah.
so.
Ria?
Oh,
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I can hear you guys. Hello.
okay. Corso Nodono with us. Hello.
Hello?
Oh
Hello.
God, this is too much. Can you hear me?
Ria, okay,
Uh,
I suggest you get your network fixed. It's really
Oh God,
breaking.
this is.
It's really
yeah.
breaking. Thank you so much, Mr.
Pepe, I think you
Oluseye.
take over while Ria adjusts her neighbor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Oluseye Adeleye. Thank you
Oh,
so much for that insightful speech. That being said, for the viewers, please write down your questions in the comment section. Maybe Ken or I or Ria will read it out to the speakers. Or you can actually raise your hand and we're going to unmute you while you ask your question yourself. If you are a very outspoken person, we don't mind. So that being said, Mr. Ken, could you please remind me who is the next speaker?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Dominic, are you here now? Mr.
Hi.
Dominic.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Okay, good evening, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dominic, please kindly introduce yourself. We'd love to know you.
Okay, so I'm Dominic Forson. I'm originally from Ghana. I work with a private equity company in Singapore that owns a couple of data companies in Asia. So yeah, and currently I am the PMO of one of the data companies in China called Early Data. So I am the lead of the project management office. Yeah, that that is it.
Thank you so much. That being said, we've got to know you. So the floor is also yours.
Okay.
Would want to hear from you. What do you have for us?
Okay. So basically, I understand today we are talking about Internet of Things and how to leverage data, but I would like to focus a bit more on the data side of Internet of Things. Am I able to share my screen?
Um, I guess so. I'm not the host. I would have helped you to share. Or if you don't mind, you can send your article on the chat. I could help you share, or maybe the host would.
I just sent to Mr. Kolawale.
Okay. Mr. Kola, please help him share the screen. Actually, I love watching the screen while the presentation is going on. You know, they say picture paints 1,000 words. So, Mr. Kola, please help out while he's making his presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Please, did you share the PDF? I think the PDF will be perfect.
Yes, I
If you can
sent
share
that.
the PDF,
Yeah,
right?
he sent it to
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Kola, so get it from him.
Okay. So you can go ahead while we are trying to fix
Yeah,
the share
I have
sharing for you.
forwarded it to Constellation.
Okay.
It's with Constellation now. Yeah. Constellation, have you seen it?
Yes, you can go ahead while we're trying to share the
Okay,
screen.
go
Sure.
ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so I basically I would like to help us paint. Okay, let's try to imagine a few scenarios here, right?
Mm.
What if your alarm clock wakes you up in the morning and it notifies your coffee maker to start brewing coffee for you? Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay.
Moving from that, how about your fridge knows that it is low on stocks, on it's low on fruits, and then it automatically reorders fruits for you. That
I
would
would
also
love
be
that.
nice, isn't it?
I would love that.
Right. And so how about you're on your way to a meeting, and your car assesses your calendar for the location and the time, and then it uses the map to find the shortest routes to avoid traffic. That would also be nice, isn't it?
Sure.
Right. So that is simply the power of the Internet of Things and big data. So Internet of Things is simply the act of making dumb devices smarter. That is how I define Internet of Things. Making dumb devices smarter. Just as we talked about alarm clock notifying your coffee machine to prepare coffee for you, your fridge ordering more fruits or drinks automatically, your car assessing your calendar for location and time. That is just the power of Internet of Things and data. So moving on from there, we've been talking quite a bit about the Internet of Things, but then what is the goal of Internet of Things? Why did someone just come up and say, okay, this is the Internet of Things, and it's taking over? Let's just brace ourselves for it. So the goal of Internet of Things is the goal of the Internet of Things is simply to make our entire lives connected and help us to have a more relaxed life. That is how I see the goal of Internet of Things. And in terms of the Internet of Things, there are two main categories of Internet of Things. There is the industrial IoT, and then there is the consumer IoT. I am a bit more focused on the consumer side, but then industrial IoT is connecting the technology of production of goods and services to better manage operations, optimize productivity, and that is more of what we use in the factories. But then the consumer IoT is more human centric. It it the goal of consumer IoT is to make the human life easier and better. So those are the personal stuff we use in our homes and our offices, right? So moving on, I would like to talk about IoT communication, how IoT devices communicate between each other. So there are basically three types of communication between IoT devices, which is device to device. That is, it involves two devices exchanging messages and signals, which is, say, a Bluetooth or a doorbell. You know, when someone rings your doorbell and then you hear the sound in your room, that is device to device IoT. That is the communication going on there. And then there is the device to cloud, which is the transmission of data through the Wi-Fi or internet, right? An example of that is like the thermostat. So in order to get the weather updated on our phones, thermostats are placed in the environment to upload the data to the cloud, which the weather apps are able to synchronize to our phones. And that is the same thing that happens with the satellites. The satellites are also able to transmit that data to our phones concerning the weather. Is the PPT ready? I mean, I would really love to share whilst I talk. Mhm. Yeah, on the communication slide, slide number 6. So yeah, that is in terms of communication, the three types: device to device, device to cloud, and then there is also the device to gateway. So device to gateway is basically connecting IoT devices through a hub, right? So say your office. So what happens is in an office, all the devices that are connected to the router are basically intertwined together and they can exchange messages or data. So that is a device to gateway connection for IoT. And moving on, IoT basically has 4 life cycles: to collect data, to communicate data, to analyze data, and to act on data, right? And in my field, what we call the collection of data is crawl and scrape jobs. So what is crawl and scrape jobs? Um, your phone basically collects all the data that, I mean, it basically collects information on all the apps you visit, what time you visit, what you do, and just everything, anything you do on your phone that is being collected by your device. So that's the collection point. And then the communication point is when your device uploads that information to the cloud or to some sort of storage base. That is, you are probably downloading music from the internet. That is the sort of communication there. So I would like to link this a bit more to my field. So for my company, what we do is, so in terms of the life cycle of IoT, what we do is we collect or we scrape data from the internet for our clients, and it's mostly e-commerce data, right? So we crawl or scrape, we parse it, and we ETL it, that is extract, transform, and load it. We analyze it, and then we help our clients act on it. So before I go to the before I go down to the case studies, to simply help you understand what I mean with this basic life cycle is, say, one of our clients is it's Nestle. Oh, yes, Nestle is one of our clients. I think in Nigeria or whichever country you come from, Nestle should be quite popular to you. So Nestle comes to us and they say they want to know what their competitors are trying to um, produce. They want to know what their competitors are trying to use to drive the market. So we go onto, say, Amazon, Taobao, Tmall, and then we scrape all the data that belongs to the competitors of Tmall. That whole process is, it's a bit in depth, but then it's simply we go and then we crawl all that data and we get that data in zeros and ones. It is, if you look at that data in an Excel sheet, it doesn't make sense in any way. So we scrape all that data. And then in terms of parsing and ETL jobs, what happens there is our systems or our crawl machines are able to know that, okay, at this section of Amazon, there is 29 and there is a dollar sign. So this is the price. So it is going to tag that data as price, 29 and a dollar as price. And it would, so it basically does that for the item name, the image, review, comments, and whatnot. And then we extract and transform that data into database readable data. So we transform it into data that our databases can read from. That is basically, that's the ETL jobs there. And then our analysts analyze and give Nestle their, how do we call it, their answer to what their competitors are doing. Say your competitor is now throwing out a new product that has this ingredient in it. So probably you to go out there, start something like that, put that much ingredients into it. So yeah, that is for the basic life cycle of IoT. And then Nestle decides to either act on it or not act on it. So we collect, we communicate, we analyze, and then the client acts on it. So moving on, so what makes us special is we have a couple of algorithms that that help us to be able to derive information from the data. The first one being the NLP algorithms, natural language processing. I think someone mentioned it earlier. So basically, it is trained to know and understand what type of data is this, what type of data we are collecting, and then it categorizes it as such. And we also have an algorithm called SSV3, Stocks and Sales Simulator. So we are able to collect data, say on Milo, right? On Milo, and then we'll be able to simulate it against the number of comments in the number of reviews and be able to determine how much sales clients or these big organizations are interested in knowing what their competitors are up to. But then your competitor is not like Coca-Cola, in as much as the first brother talked about Coca-Cola, in as much as Coca-Cola is getting money from people and then they owe the public the truth to publish their sales information, they are not really going to publish something that their competitors can use against them. So analyzing the comments on the data, the number of, if you go to some e-commerce platforms, you're able to see that, 10,000 people have bought this item, but then there are, say, there are 20,000 comments on it. And then in the back end, we are also able to determine how many people have clicked on it. So using all those stats, we have an algorithm that is able to actually analyze and help the competitor know how much sales Coca-Cola has made. And that is even different. Say Coca-Cola corporate wants to know how much sales they are making, but then their distributors on the ground are not speaking the truth. This could give them a bit of idea into it. So if our algorithm's prediction is a bit closer to the numbers that their distributors are telling them, or a distributor tells you he sold this much crates of Coca-Cola, if if the numbers are a bit close, that is fine. But then if it's not close and there is a big gap, then that is where Coca-Cola corporate needs to act. So that is where the act comes in. We collect, we analyze, and then we give it to them to act. Whatever they'll do, however they want to act on the distributor, that is between them. And then we also have a model called Elevator. So Elevator is what we use to extract data from texts. So there could be a long thread of email that we just want to know, okay, in an email, someone has prepared a monthly, say a monthly report that has 450 PDF pages. These big corporate institutions usually do that. So we can use our elevator algorithm to just extract the key points in there for whoever needs it, and then they act on it. And then there is Motel. Motel is used for commodity clustering. So say we collect Coca-Cola on Walmart, Coca-Cola on Taobao, Coca-Cola on Tmall. These are three different URLs. So that is not going to be the same data unless you put them together as one. That is how you can say, okay, Coca-Cola as one, this is their universal sales. So Motel clusters all of them together, be it on Tmall, on Taobao, wherever it is, it puts them together as one. And the same thing happens for what we call side door. And then there is Banjo. Banjo is what we use to determine the front and back image of a product. So say we are extracting the ingredients from a product, Banjo is able to know this is the front side of the product image. So let it pass. If it gets to the back side, Banjo is going to extract the ingredient information from the back side of that product. So we have a few case studies that a few examples in our company that I would like to present to you. And the first one being the category monitoring example, right? So we have a client that is a leading VMS producer, right? VMS is simply vitamins, minerals, and supplements, or vitamins and dietary products, right? But then they need help to understand how they need help to track their sales performance in the Chinese market. This was it is a Swiss. I've given them away. So it's from Switzerland. It's a Swiss brand, but then they are not able to really understand how much they are selling in the Chinese e-commerce market, because their wing in China just reports a certain figure and they are either forced to take it, or what they really do not know how much the Chinese department of their company is making, or if they are reporting the truth in terms of sales. So what we did was we sent out our category monitoring crawlers into all e-commerce platforms. So a category monitoring is basically to monitor the entire category of vitamins, minerals, and supplements. So we monitored that entire category across all the platforms that the brand operates, and then we were able to analyze based on the brands, the stores, the sub segments, and the items. So we crawl. So in terms of crawling the data here, we crawl the entire category of vitamins, minerals, and supplements. We crawl the entire platform of, say, Taobao. We'll crawl the entire Taobao, every data from there. Um, Say Mr. Kulawale bought vitamins worth this much price, we will have that data, and then sometimes we'll be able to have his name attached to it. Mr. Kulawale bought 3,000 packs of, say, vitamin C. So using 3,000 by the vitamin C price, we have that sale down. Then who is the next one? So with all this information, we're able to let the client understand, okay, in total, for the month of August, your brand sold maybe 40,000 MMB worth of products. So they can compare that to whatever the corporate division in China reports. If it's wrong, they act on it. If it's right, they leave it. So that is what we do to them. We do for them, sorry. And then the next one I would like to talk about is there is we had an FMCG company, pharmaceuticals manufacturing company, that wanted to understand the oral care. They wanted to enter the Chinese e-commerce market, right? They're also an international platform, but then an international brand, but then they didn't know how to innovate for China, because if you've lived in China for a while, or if any country you live in, you know that um, the brands there are different products based on the brand market. If you have really paid attention, the taste of Coca-Cola in Africa is not the same taste in China. Someone can tell me I'm lying, but that is the truth. The ingredients are slightly different. So that is the innovation for the Chinese tongue. So this pharmaceutical manufacturing company wanted to, sorry, food manufacturing and pharmaceutical company wanted to understand how to enter the oral care, that is toothpaste market in China. And what we did was it was still online. The client defines what platforms they would like to analyze. And then we went, collected all sales information. Attributes information is basically the ingredients, because they want to innovate, right? So we collected all the ingredients for the top selling brands in the Chinese e-commerce markets, and then our analysts analyze them to help them understand what is the top selling ingredients, what is the next. So with that, the brand is able to go back, and then if it's to inject just a little dose of that ingredient into their toothpaste before sending it down to China, that helps them to be able to also capture the Chinese market. Because if they come with the ingredients that they use to manufacture toothpaste for people in the USA, it might not sell here. So that was how we helped that FMCG. And then the next one was price monitoring. So price monitoring is very interesting. So price monitoring is a product of our company that we use to help brands help keep their stores in line. So an example I'll give you is, say, Guinness or Coca-Cola, right? So Coca-Cola corporates, they give a certain price for people to sell a bottle of Coke. So say one Coca-Cola costs maybe $10. So you can only sell it at plus or minus 10. Sorry, plus or minus 2. So you can either sell it at $8 or at $12. That is to the distributors. But then there are some people that go out there and sell Coca-Cola at, say, what? You check maybe Taobao or Amazon, and the same product, maybe Coca-Cola, costs $20 in a shop, and then there is a shop that is literally selling it at $5. So what we do is we are able to flag those shops. So we have data on every shop on the platform that the client wants to track, and we send real-time WeChat messages, be it WhatsApp, text message, So immediately a seller changes the price, say to say $15. That is above the price mark from corporate Coca-Cola in the US. Corporate Coca-Cola receives an email from us telling them that this seller with this URL, with this shop ID has changed the price of your product. In as much as Coca-Cola lost ownership of the product when they sold it to that retailer, it is still their brand. So they need to put that retailer back in line. So what Coca-Cola does is they act. That is where the acting comes in. Either they refund that retailer's money back to them, or they ask that retailer to reduce the price, or they stop distributing goods to that retailer completely. However, they want to act on that. That is mainly up to them. So that is what price monitoring does. It monitors the price, and then there are some people that reduce the price. There is original Coca-Cola shop, right? You would find there is a main brand store online, but then you find a retailer store which has reduced the price to say $5. This is very unacceptable because the main brand store is not going to be able to sell, and that is not the price given by Coca-Cola corporate. So what they do is they get to that shop owner. They also have a database of, based on whatever shop name we give them, they know who that retailer is, and then they can quickly act on that. So that is how they act when it comes to price monitoring. So just price compliance for brands in the market. And then the next one I would like to talk about is social listening, right? So we had this client who wanted to understand how consumers, sometimes, I don't know, if you really lived in China for a while, you realize that most of the reviews that you find on Chinese e-commerce platforms are fake. These do not really talk, they do not give the sentiments that the customers really feel. So the actual how do we call it, the actual sentiments of your brand might be on social media, wherever. So what we do is we go to crawl Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Amazon, wherever, whichever platform, and then we are just looking for the keyword your brand. Say we are looking for the keyword Coca-Cola. So we are going to find what people are saying about Coca-Cola on all these platforms, and then what they are saying in the reviews. And then from there, our analysts are going to be able to analyze and let you know how many, just like if you zoom into that corner of the social listening slide, you'll be able to know what percentage of people are happy with your brand, what percentage of people are annoyed with your brand. Just social